What's up, guys? How's it going? You might know that Lucky Wheel has come out again. And then we got Hollow Chiefs going on again. And we have Frostfire Mine coming up. We have Defeat Nearby Beasts. We have Alliance Championship. We have Crazy Joe. We've got Bear Hunt. We have Castle Battle. We have Fortress Battle. And then, hey, what is this? Road to Recovery at the bottom. And we have Fire Crystals. So today I'm going to discuss Fire Crystals with you, and more importantly, what we probably need to all be prepared for. Okay, now if you don't know what Fire Crystals are, okay, basically these are going to allow you to upgrade your buildings past Furnace level 30. Okay, the main thing that you need to know here is that you're going to have somewhere between 50 and 100 or so of these Fire Crystals that you're going to need to upgrade things like the command center, the embassy, obviously your individual camps for your troops. These are all things that are going to have upgrades. And, of course, your furnace itself. Now, the thing is, the way you pretty much get these free to play, okay, is come Fire Crystal event, you'll actually get these events that are kind of a little different colored shapes. Basically, you tap on them and you'll get some Fire Crystals that way. Of course, there's a multitude of different ways to go about getting these. A lot of people in the early game are probably going to spend to get those Fire Crystals, but it's not like the only way you can get them. It's like you can get them through packs and stuff like that. You can get them through events too, and it's really just a matter of kind of being. You basically need to prepare with this in mind. So when you actually get to this point, you actually see what your ranking rewards will be. Yeah, if you manage to be one of the 10 to 20 players in your entire state that got to Furnace 30, you're going to get some Fire Crystals so that you can actually work and progress further into the future. The main thing with Fire Crystal anything is eventually this will lead up to the laboratory, and then shortly after that you'll get into the War Academy, which is where you unlock T11 troops. A lot of this stuff doesn't show up for quite a while, though, and you will run into Fire Crystal shortly before state versus state, which is kind of the equivalent of a server versus server fight, more or less. Which, as far as preparation for Fire Crystal goes, I would say you probably more than likely are going to want to dump a stupid amount of resources into it, a lot of construction speeds into it, and then a lot of time and energy will be spent on stamina. So I recommend saving a lot of your stamina for this. You're going to need the stamina. You're going to need the resources. You're going to need speeds. It's one of those things that, unfortunately, unless you're pay to win, you're going to have a really rough time come Fire Crystal. So the sooner you can prepare for it, the better off you're going to be. I will recommend that if you do have the Beast Cage, you probably want to grab Hyena's construction skill, and then you also probably want to try and get advantages where you can. And that could be anything from like getting double time when you actually start upgrading your buildings to things like going into your Heroes tab and making sure that you've already gotten all your construction boosts that you can get out of Zen Man. And you might even go so far as to even going into Jasser and actually getting his, research skill. Because again, these are all things that add up. It saves a lot of time and money over a period of time anyway. So if you want my 2 cents, that's ultimately what you want to do in preparation of Fire Crystal as it's coming up. Because that's really how you're going to get ahead. I would say that, I think a lot of people will spring forward and kind of think in terms of what matters the most to them. I, for one, think that I'm going to probably jump to Command Center and Embassy and just back and forth between these two buildings, and then Max Furnace, and then just rinse repeat. And the reasoning behind that is because the guy that has a higher rally capacity and a higher troop deployment capacity is obviously going to be a little bit more advantageous in a fight against most of the players that they run against. And in the long term, I really think a lot of people forget to think that a lot of those players are also going to be dumping a stupid amount of resources and troops speeds into the game, and it's just kind of the direction that everything eventually goes in at the later stage in the game. So if you want to be kind of thinking about this, in the long term, these are the things that you really want to plan ahead and kind of have prepared come fire crystal in your state. Of course, for those of you that have already been through fire crystal are probably more than well aware of what to expect and what's coming next. Obviously, this increases your likelihood to see kind of what other members and people out there who have been through this have to say. And you're, again, more than welcome to comment below if you have suggestions and tips for those that are interested in learning more about fire crystals. And again, the biggest thing I can tell you is that a lot of this information you can retrieve straight off of the Whiteout Survival Discord. So if you want to find out more, you can actually go to the community guides section that they have in the Discord. And then from there, you'll actually get a complete chart on the exact amount of costs. But the main thing you need to know is that, like, basically there's FC 1, 2, and 3. But the first initial stages, there's like 3 stages, and each stage is going to monumentally increase the amount of fire crystals that you're going to need. And so naturally, you're going to spend a stupid amount of fire crystals upgrading these buildings. And along with that, comes with all the resources and all the speed ups and requirements to effectively work your way to the next stage. And so these are things that I'm just kind of giving you some early warning for those of you in my state that happen to watch the channel. But even for those of you that I haven't really gotten to where we are in the game, this is kind of what you have to do in advance once the event swings by, because it'll sweep everybody like none other. Like, it goes by so fast that if you're pay to win, you'll easily see people burn $2,000 trying to stay ahead, because this is the entry point to getting into FC3 and eventually higher tier stages of Fire Crystal, which is obviously going to give you better stats in the command center, which gives you higher rally capacity, and everything from that to, like, just so many other freakishly terrifying things that occur, months in advance after that. It's like the timeline is actually something else that you can see on the Discord. So if you want to look that up, it's just a rough timeline, and you can go to the Discord and it'll actually give you a full list of what is coming next. So again, I highly recommend checking out the Whiteout Survival Discord if you really want to know more about this. But more or less, at least on the subject, I think that's really about all I can have said about it for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and make sure to subscribe if you like Whiteout Survival, and I'll see you guys to the next video.